Well, World Environment Day is in full swing here in Baku, Azerbaijan, and I'm delighted to say that I'm also joined by two leaders taking the fight on climate change to the world. I've got the representative of the President of the Republic of Azerbaijan on climate issues, Mr. Mukhtar Babayev, former President of COP29, of course, and the Executive Director of the United Nations Environment Programme, Ms. Inga Andersen. Both of you, welcome. Thank you for taking the time to speak to us. Ms. Andersen, let me start with you first. Just give us your sense, please, of what this day is all about.
So World Environment Day, 5th of June, of course, we like to think that every day is Environment Day, but it was the day in 1972 when UNEP, my organization, the UN Environment Programme, was created. And it is a moment sort of to stop, take stock, and think about where we are. What is it that we're doing? We make commitments on pollution, on biodiversity, on climate, how we're doing. And each year, a different host hosts World Environment Day. And we're very proud that Azerbaijan is a global host this year. Now, there are 2,000 events across the world registered, and more being registered as we're checking. But the point here is Azerbaijan has wanted to inspire, to take a sort of a title of this day, a focus, inspired by nature, acting for climate for the future generations. And this makes a lot of sense. Azerbaijan was a host of COP29, no less. I'm sitting with the former president, and of course made some significant promises through the Baku commitments that the world has to now live up to. But we want to place World Environment Day not as a place where we sort of give up all hope and throw in the towel, but rather look. Yes, it's hard. Yes, there's some backsliding here and there, but there's also a lot of stuff happening. How can we accelerate that? How can we take local, global, and regional action? And this is very much what Azerbaijan is showcasing here in Baku.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Babayev, we mentioned COP29 there. Obviously, tremendous successes that were rightly celebrated around the world. Also, I imagine quite a lot of learnings too. What is it that you think in terms of learnings from that event and from the presidency that we can take and start to apply today as we move forward in this fight against climate change?
Thanks for mentioning the COP29, our success at COP29. Yeah, was really very, very interesting and very important forum for all the world. And achievements at COP29, the new finance goal and other achievements, I think it's demonstrated that the countries can come to decisions together, can come to compromise. And now the situation is a little bit worse, more conflicts, more wars, more crises, energy, food and others. That's why now we need to work more. And Azerbaijan we're continuing our mission. We continue to build the trust between the countries, between the continents, between the regions. And I think it is so important to hold this leadership. And I think Azerbaijan already demonstrate how it's possible. The small country can demonstrate the great leadership in the world.
So, as in climate action is the theme of this event. In some senses, is that a difficult message? Because of course there's been understandably so much negativity about the fact we have seen some backsliding. But also I know you're keen to present the successes too, right?
Yes, I mean, let's think about this. When we met in Paris 2015, right, we were looking at a world that was heading towards close to 4 degrees in 2100. Now, I'm not going to say that heading to a world that is close to 2.3 to 2.6 degrees is a success, but we have brought it down. We know now that we are very likely going to bypass a sustained 1.5. Degrees and so that's a situation that we have to talk about. But at the same time, when we look at solar wind, which is now the global average price is 3.3 or 4.4, depending solar wind, cent per kilowatt hour, hydrocarbon is 10 cents. Why is it that Texas has 40% of its electricity from renewables? discuss because it's cheaper. And so these things are being invested in. Are we there? No, because as His Excellency Babayev said, we're seeing still now with the war in the Middle East that we are still dependent on this material, oil, and that's a reality. But we are also seeing these solutions. Azerbaijan just hosted the World Urban Forum and showed the world about smart housing, smart infrastructure. So there are lots of solutions, not fast enough, but happening. And my job is to make it the cadence even faster, because meanwhile, the signals from planet Earth is not stopping. Floods, fires, droughts, etc. And this is not the world we want to live in. So let's speed it up. That's really the motto that we need to focus on.
And in order to speed it up, Mr. Babayev, all the countries of the world seem to be now uniting, coming together. We saw them at WUF, we saw them at COP29, we see them here today. When you look at the different contributions that the different countries can make, just give us a sense of Azerbaijan, whether it's diplomacy, technology, innovation. Just tell us about the particular skill set that you think this country brings to the table.
You know, we have a lot of examples how the small countries could demonstrate the real work, the practical work, pragmatic approaches, pragmatic programs. And our words is moving together with our activities, with our performance. Today, Azerbaijan is the leading country in the region in renewable energy production. And we continue this activity together with our regional neighbors. And, you know, in huge potential in Azerbaijan, also in Central Asia. And we would like to use Azerbaijani territory and our capacity, infrastructure, to deliver in future the electricity to export, green electricity to export. I think it is something new in the world. It's connecting continents, connecting countries, not by hydrocarbons, but also by green energy, by green electricity. That's why, in this case, I think the Azerbaijan, especially Central Asia countries, and other good examples now today in the world, where the leadership, the continued programmed work based on the strategic view of the country, strategic view of the region. And I think Azerbaijan can contribute more. And you're absolutely correct, Urban Forum, now World Environment Day, and we have another more chances to demonstrate it.
Absolutely. Now, Mr. Andersen, you spoke about action. This is about climate action. We have done some backsliding, but also there's been some successes too. What are the particular solutions that are being discussed here today? Give us a sense of some of those practical applications.
Very practical. I mean, take a walk in this city or in any large city and let's look at where are the opportunities. We're already seeing electric vehicles shift in many parts of the world, including in this part of the world. That is going to bring down your urban air pollution. That would be good for childhood asthma and the bill on the health side. And when children get very sick, they don't go to school, you have a poorer performance. We have seen this in some cities with the heavy pollutant, that it has a direct impact on children's test scores, right? So let's just talk specifics. Clean air means healthier kids, means better livelihoods, means not so much pressure on the budget, and good for climate. So this is just one example. This is just like all-round smart. Yes, we need to deal with recycling of lithium batteries, and this has to be the next stage, but it's all very much in the making. But then let's talk about smart buildings. This is a country that is still building and still expanding its urban base, as we saw in the WUF. Now, how can we do climate smart infrastructure? And I'm really pleased to see that these are precisely some of the aspects that are being talked about here. Then let's talk about methane, and we will be talking about that more later on today, because this is also an oil-producing country, but a country that is leaning into a reality that we see in all oil-producing country, which is CH4 methane emissions. Methane being a very powerful gas, 80 times more powerful than CO2, but you know, when we talk about the oil and gas sector, it's sort of venting, flaring, and leaking. How do we deal with these three? Venting, flaring, and leaking. If you can tighten the screws and deal with the alternatives to venting and flaring, frankly, then they can take out these highly super pollutants, climate pollutants, take them out. And that will bring down your emissions load immediately, so that while you decarbonize, you buy yourself some time for the more hard stuff. This is also a conversation that's happening here. Waste infrastructure. This is a country that is leaning in precisely into making investments into its solid waste management. We know that when we mix organic with non-organic, it will lie there and rot, and it will also have methane emissions.
Yes.
Having that separation and investment in these systems for for using methanes for soil conditioners, etc., and separating other wastes that can potentially be circular, this is part of the solution too. These are the kind of conversations. Plus, of course, but this is a long list because this is a country on the move.
Yeah.
And so they are also moving very much into protected area, forest regeneration, etc. And of course, once we do that, it's great for the country, it's great for nature, it's great for people, but it's also good for the climate because of the carbon sequestration. The roots will absorb, or the trees or the biomass will absorb that carbon and keep it. Plus, of course, big storms, you will not get so much flooding because the nature will take up that water and you won't get the flooding, and you will get greater soil moisture, and that will lead to greater climate and more rainfall because as evaporation happens. So all around, each of these steps that we are seeing being taken in this country and indeed in other countries are part and parcel of the solution. Enough? No. On the way? Yes. More? Yes, please. That's really the conversation we're having.
Thank you. A long list there. Mr. Babayev, I'll give you the final words on this. A long list of things already taking place here in this country. But when you look at Azerbaijan and the wider region, South Caucasus, Central Asia, what do we need to get right over the next 12 months to really make a positive impact on climate?
You know, Madame Inger Andersen already mentioned some directions very important, and the same challenges and same risks we have in our regions. Biodiversity, droughts, floods, glaciers, situation with the glaciers, then very clean air, very practical things, very practical areas for cooperation. And it is not possible to build the clean environment in one country, already not possible. It's only possible on regional, on worldwide basis. That's why it is so important now to cooperate with our neighbors, to cooperate with different regions, to bring the good practice from other countries. But I think it is very important also to cooperate and to work very, very closely with the international organizations. UNEP, I think, in this direction is one of the leaders. And we worked a lot with UNEP. We have a lot of projects already implemented, now under implementation, and in future we are planning to implement. Caspian Sea, the shrinking of the Caspian Sea issue in 2024, when Mr. President Ilham Aliyev met with Madame Inger Andersen, and he proposed to UNEP to consider to prepare the special report for what the reasons of the shrinking of the Caspian Sea, how we can cooperate in this sphere, what we can do together, and how it's possible to modeling situation in years ahead. That's why we work on it. It is huge work and endless, unfortunately. That's why we hope that our cooperation with UNEP will continue, and we are very glad to say that we have already a lot of good, successful results of our work, and we will continue. Thanks for support.
Thank you.
Inger. Thanks for coming to Azerbaijan, and you are together with us, and we are celebrate this day together, and we look to future.
Absolutely. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
And thank you both very much indeed for taking the time to speak to us on AnewZ. Much appreciated. Thank you.
Thank you.